Welcome to another episode of The Rondo, presented by Modelo, the cerveza for football. The Premier League is officially underway, and all eyes are on some of the biggest clubs in England. But what can we expect from these teams? Let's find out. All right, Tom, all eyes are going to be on Pep Guardiola's men leading into this year. They had a disappointing season last year, man. It felt like Pep Guardiola went through a little transitional period. They have some new signings in, Ryan Cherky, Tijani Reinders, some class signings as well. But what do you think about the Man City's odds this season?
Well, first of all, unbelievable pronunciation of Reinders. I've been trying to do that for years and I just can't. But no, I mean, they're weird, aren't they? Because like last year they were in kind of like in-between era rebuilding mode. And one thing that really annoys me, right, is that any club that is like rebuilding like that should finish 7th.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? When everyone's like 29 or older and it's the unction, like you're supposed to be crap.
Oh, 100%. You're supposed to be ass. But like, I feel like at the end of the day, for Man City, we know that Pep Guardiola is going to make the team at least able to compete, bro.
Well,
like, you know City isn't going to finish like 5th.
Well, that's annoying, right? Because I'd love to be able to sit here and be like, hey, Raheem, you know where City are going to finish?
Yeah.
Or like even worse, like 9th.
I would
but
love
no,
that.
that's not happening. But like they needed to retool and refresh. Do you remember when they signed 3 players in January?
No.
Right? They spent like 180 million.
I didn't even realize that, bro.
Yeah.
Who would they buy?
You have Kusanov, the best Uzbekistani footballer the world has ever seen.
For sure.
Right, you got Nico Gonzalez, right, who was
The
supposed...
center defensive mid from
right,
Spain.
and then there was another one and I actually can't remember.
I'm not too sure
But
who
that's
it was.
the point. That's the point, right? Like, City spent a bunch of money in January, bunch of money over the summer, and it's like, here's my thing. Did they get substantially better? Or are you then relying on Pep Guardiola to do Pep Guardiola magic? I mean, Cherky's a great signing. Reinders have always kind of rated in like a trendy hipster way. I'll be
For
like,
sure.
you know how you have to do that?
Oh.
And like, that's my obligation as like a football journalist. Be like, yeah, you guys don't watch Serie A like that.
For sure. I feel like for me with Man City, I feel like at the end of the day, we have seen them as a powerhouse. They have set the standard for Premier League football for what, the past 4 or 5 years before,
If
like
not
that,
longer.
if not longer. Even when Liverpool had Salah, Firmino, like Mane, they were still that team within the league. And I feel like for City, they had guys like Raheem Sterling, they had guys like Riyad Mahrez, they had guys like Leroy Sané, they had guys like Gabriel Jesus who could chip in, they had guys like Aguero. Bro, these are world-class players. We're talking about prime Kevin De Bruyne, arguably the best midfielder in Premier League history.
Calm down.
And hey, I know you love Gerrard, but I just had to state it out. And what I will say is that Kevin De Bruyne aging out of the squad and not having the same class players that they had before is definitely affecting this team, bro. Like, think about it. Savinho last year had like 1 goal and like a few assists. Bro, we're talking about prime Sterling having 30 goals a season competing with Messi and Ronaldo and them, bro. It's a different team.
Well,
bro.
it's weird, isn't it? Because like one thing that, and make this about your club, one thing Liverpool have done so well this summer is refreshed when like everyone's in their prime. You've got to bring like dudes in. It's the same in any sport, right? If you've got a bunch of 29-year-olds, those 29-year-olds are going to turn 30. So you need to bring a bunch of 22, 23 and whatever. And City didn't do the best job of that. They really should have refreshed, but they didn't. So, and it's this whole thing with Pep Guardiola. He always says, I like to have a small squad.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, I want 16 guys and they're all going to get injured, but we're still going to win the league.
How do you feel about this, though? City kind of changing from going from I feel like City were in this place before where they would sign like players where, you know, they were guaranteed to be class.
Yeah.
Like, you knew that Kevin De Bruyne was probably going to do very, very well in the Prem. You knew that Leroy Sané, Raheem Sterling, these guys would translate. Like, when I see a guy like Jeremy Doku, for example, or Savinho, I didn't really see them translating to the Premier League that well.
It's weird because I feel like it's honestly strange to sit here and be like, City haven't scouted well. But like,
Have they?
they kind of haven't. They kind of haven't.
Yeah.
Because it's like, let's just get a bunch of like young, fast guys who are going to do a bunch of fun dribbly stuff. But like, they're not practical. The one thing about Pep Guardiola teams, right? Say what you will about tactics, whatever. They have always been ruthlessly efficient.
Ruthlessly efficient. I'm talking about, you know, when you see that right-hand side, when you see that low cross coming in, it's an automatic goal, bro.
Right.
I don't
It's like-
see that no more,
Right,
bro.
you know, in like 2017, 18, you'd watch Man City and be like, they are going to win this game 5-0.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, you didn't even have to turn the TV on. And you'd check your goal.com notifications and you'd be like, oh, it's 5-0. Like, okay.
And I don't think teams are scared of City anymore. I'm not scared of City anymore as an Arsenal fan.
You're not scared
I'm
of
not.
City.
I'm not.
I still think City could win the league, which is insane.
You think so?
I think they still could.
Why do you think that?
Because they're Man City. Like, honestly, like, couple injuries to Liverpool, couple injuries to Arsenal. By the way, I mean, look, date of recording, everyone's hamstrings are already falling apart.
I know, bro.
Like, City managed their squad correctly. They could just win, like, the next 30, however many games.
Now the reigning champions, Liverpool, they have been busy this transfer window, signing Hugo Ekitike, Alexander Isak, and Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, Kirkes. A lot of stars coming to Anfield this year. What's your thoughts on your squad?
I'm bored.
You should be bored.
No, I'm bored of Liverpool. This is the thing, man. Like, with Liverpool, it was about the journey. You know, like when everyone was 22, 23, and I was like invested in these players. When I was being a nerd, when I was supposed to be working, and I'm on YouTube and it's like, Mo Salah, like skills, highlights, assists, welcome to Liverpool, question mark, fire emoji, Danza Kuduro in the background. Yeah. Like, that was the journey.
Pre-Fabrizio era?
Yeah, no, honestly. And now
era.
it's just like, all right, we spent 150 million. And it's like, my whole thing with Liverpool is like, oh my God, I'm so glad we're not Man City. Now we're Man City.
Now you're City.
Now
you're
we're
that
spending.
guy.
Now, yes, we have become what we hated the most.
But you know what's so funny? I'm kind of proud of what Liverpool has done because remember back in the day, Liverpool had a banter era, bro. You remember back in the day we had like Mamadou Sakho and Firmino barely playing under Brendan Rodgers. Now we're talking about some of the biggest players in the world going for 90, 95 million, 130 million, 134 million. To Liverpool, bro.
Right. So that's the bit I think is good, right? The fact that people want to come to the club. Like, I will never disparage the fact that, like, yeah, that like Liverpool is a desirable destination. It should be. You know how many footballers, like, you know how much you want to play somewhere to want to live in Liverpool, right? If you're a foreigner, you want to live in London.
For sure.
You want to live in Manchester.
Manchester minimum. Birmingham at the minimum.
Right.
Yeah.
I love Liverpool Football Club. Me, I wouldn't want to live in Liverpool.
Oh, absolutely not,
like, bro. If you're like Jeremy Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike was in Paris for 2 years.
Liverpool got some of the drippiest guys on the roster coming out in Merseyside.
Oh my God.
Everybody there is probably like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's crazy.
But moving on to like the football aspect of this
club,
man, just going off the games that Liverpool have just played recently, man, the pace, the physicality, the ability to just dominate for some minutes of the game, bro. It's really, really impressive to see it, especially seeing how closely these guys have come in such a short amount of time.
I think in terms of like building a squad, the thing is that right now you have to be world class and 2 players deep at every position. We can agree on that, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like, in order to win consistently,
you gotta have squad, bro.
You've gotta. Exactly. So it's like Liverpool have realized that, and I think they've realized it at the right time, but it doesn't make it necessarily like fun anymore. It's like, I feel like Liverpool are going to win a bunch of games 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. Like, it's going to be get your goal, manage the game. And it's like, yeah, man, like that's it, but it's not sexy.
It's not sexy. It's not sexy, but at the end of the day, bro, it's Alexander Isak, Hugo Ekitike we talking about, playing with Mohamed Salah, bro. You know there's going to be some good moments in the season. What I will say, though, a lot of pressure on them to win the treble this year, bro. Do you think this squad could do it?
So that's the issue. I don't think it's funny because in the past, I'd always back Liverpool to win the Champions League, but not the Premier League. I think it goes the other way. I think Liverpool could quite comfortably win the Premier League, but I don't know if there's the Champions League sauce.
Finally, we got to talk about Arsenal. Come on now. The second place leaders. Second place finest. These guys have been second for 3 years running.
And it's going to be 4.
And as an Arsenal fan, I'm tired of it. But
you are?
We got to talk about Arsenal on this pod, man. The only way we can is just by talking about the signings that they've made. They've signed Eberiche Eze, Noni Madueke, Zuba Mendy, Gyökeres, Mosquera. We've blocked up a lot of signings this year. But Hincapie as well, who's coming in from Bayer Leverkusen. But still, Arsenal against Liverpool, they lose 1-0 against a free kick. Proper free kick from Szoboszlai. But you can still see the weaknesses in the squad. What's your take?
The Arsenal are way too defensive. You're way too defensive, and you have been for years, man. There was this whole thing. Do you remember this with England at the World Cup where everyone was like, Gareth Southgate, take the handbrake off, man.
Yes.
Like attack and do something interesting. Arsenal, take the handbrake off, attack, do something interesting. You've signed Eze, you've signed Madueke, you've signed Gyökeres, who I, by the way, think is a really good signing.
Yeah.
People are like mad about this because they're like, oh, he's 6'3" and he can't jump. Shut up. He scored 50 goals last season. How is that a bad signing? Like that is like the most mind-numbing thing.
I think it's not like a bad signing. I think it's just like, look at all the strikers that were available at the time. Like Ekitike.
Okay, who was actually available? Ekitike wasn't available because he wanted to go to Liverpool.
Okay. Just saying on this market, who's left for clubs this year? Not saying if they wanted to go to Arsenal or not.
Right.
You had Ekitike, you had Isak, even a guy like Luis Openda. Like, there's so many strikers that were available within this market, and we decided to go with the guy who played in the weakest league out of all of them.
I reckon he's going to be good, though. Here's the thing, though, because it's like you needed tactical flexibility, right? Havertz is probably your starting number 9, Kai Havertz, right? Like, you yeet the ball up to him, he, like, wins a header, knocks it down, and then tries to do something inside the box. Like, that is going to make you solid defensively and good going forward. Gyökeres, you needed that other option to be able to stretch the play, run in behind. I don't get why people are so mad at this. And also, like, if Arsenal are that, like, don't cry now when you should have invested in this 2 years ago. I think
for Arsenal
you've needed a 9 for years.
Oh, of course.
So when the pickings get a slim, like you can't be grumpy.
No, listen. At the end of the day, I always said this. Mikel Arteta, this is the team that he's basically using to save his to basically maintain his job, bro. In my opinion, if he doesn't win the league this season with Arsenal, I don't know if Arteta's that guy to take Arsenal to that next step to win things. We know on paper Arsenal has a great back line. We know Arteta loves his left center back, left back hybrid, who we give to him every window. He loves that. We now have a number 9. We have Eberiche Eze on the left.
Baller.
To finally replace Martinelli, because he looks like he cannot dribble with his head down. He cannot dribble unless his head is down and not finding another teammate. I think for right now, the main concern is Arteta really ready to go into the season knowing that 1 year left, you have to win the league with this team? Is he that confident in this side to play attacking football? So, I don't know.
So I think the thing about Mikel Arteta is that he's a very good man manager and he's very good at being a Pep Guardiola disciple. What he can't do is innovate. He doesn't have that next level to be like, Plan A, I have perfected plan A. I have perfected plan A and it gets us to second place. All right, what's plan B that gets us over the line? And I don't think he quite has that. Yeah. And that's the thing with every Pep Guardiola disciple, quote unquote. They play the same kind of football that they did when they left City, that Pep did when they left City. So Mikel Arteta joins Arsenal right at the inflection point where Pep's like, I want big centre backs. So Mikel Arteta's like, yeah, welcome to the club, baby. We're playing 4 centre-backs and 3 defensive midfielders at Anfield.
Which is insane.
Remember that video last year of when, or was it 2 years ago, when you get the 0-0 against City and the Arsenal fans go, yes. But that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the big problem.
Don't celebrate those. Be bummed that you got a 0-0. You need to win the games on the road.
I do not question Arteta's professionalism, the way he manages the players. I think he's an amazing manager. I think he's a great manager. I think he covers all boxes when it comes to management in world football. But is one of those boxes gonna be, can he win you a title? We'll see. This Premier League season is not one to miss, and we're going to be keeping track of it every step of the way. Thank you to Modelo for sponsoring today's episode of The Rondo. Modelo is the cerveza for football, having been rooted in football culture for over 30 years. They're continuing to bring their passion to football culture. If you want to bring the same passion to your next football watch-along, grab a Modelo.